I actually didn't even know that I want to be in the design world. I came from a family that had all the connections.
Right.
My dad refused to let me use them. Vidhu Chopra walked into that space and I remember he said, hey, you must do my office. So for me at that point, that was like a big break. I remember that when we finished that home, it was just beautiful and we made it to the cover with our first project.
Hey guys, welcome back to our next episode of Shu Khabar, and today we've got a really cool designer with us on our hot seat, Shabnam Gupta, and we are going to dig into her professional and personal life which nobody knows. So let's get on with the gossip. Guys, I have to share a secret which nobody knows, and perhaps I feel that I am privileged to know, is that Shabnam Gupta hails from the Ramayan Sagar family, okay? So she carries the weight of the entire legacy that the family has, and we're going to know more about it. Shabnam, how do you feel of being on this podcast with me right now?
I feel great. I am very nervous because I don't know what I've walked into. And I think there should be some kind of restriction on the questions and answers that we are going to be having.
So, first rule of Shu Khabar is that there are no restrictions, okay? There are no filters, and we would want you to be yourself. So, it's going to be amazing because that's what everybody wants to know.
Sounds good.
All right. So, Shabnam, we all know about... at least I know about your professional practice and your career and the things that you do, which we will get onto at a later part of this episode. But I want to start with is a dig in your personal life, all right? Because we want our people to know who Shabnam Gupta is and her ideologies and her journey right from the start until what you are today. So starting with, give me some insight on how was it to grow up in a family of the Sagars?
We were like every other family. We were brought up with very middle class value systems. My granddad, when he came into India after the partition, actually saw a lot of hardships, and he started from only having a trunk full of books when he landed into Bombay, and the kind of stories we've heard and the kind of struggles we've heard, we were very privileged. We've only heard them, but because of that I think we were very grounded in our upbringing. We were not even encouraged to read film magazines at home, or it's a different, we were kept as far away from the film industry as kids because they just felt that, you know, it's a world where when you're ready, but otherwise you should be as normal as possible while growing up. It's a different thing that I had a lot of friends from the industry, and of course now I have a lot of clients, but none of this was ever planned, you know. When we were growing up, we were just the regular kids.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So I wanted to be an architect since I was in my 5th grade. My grandmom had a beautiful house, and the family decided to sell it after a point because it was over 115 years old.
Wow.
And the upkeep was too much. It was in Matunga, okay? And I used to go there every day, and I used to dream about building a similar house. Like when it was breaking down, I used to go there and sit, and I used to see everything coming down. Because I wanted to know every detail of what went where, so that when I grow up, I would build a house like that for my grandmom that she can live in again.
That's so sweet.
So coming back to you, like, you know, with all the shooting and everything happening and these fancy elaborate sets that we see, did you ever wish that you wanted to be like a set designer someday?
No. I somehow, and very funnily so, never had any inkling whatsoever to be part of the film industry.
Wow. Okay.
Just something that never really drew me to it.
Yeah.
Of course, the creativity was passed on, and I actually didn't even know that I want to be in the design world.
Wow.
I was a very rebellious child in a very traditional Punjabi family. So I broke every rule possible, which was not too good for me at that point, because I was the first girl who wanted to wear shorts and wanted to frizz my hair and everything possible. And I think to my dad's dismay, I wasn't the lady he thought I'd be. And he actually, after my 12th, asked me to do home science.
Okay.
Because he actually thought that I would be a little more ladylike. And I think the first assignment we had is we had a stitching class.
Okay.
And I was in shock with what I was doing in that class. And I remember I attended for 1 week and I came back home and I put the leaving certificate on his desk. He said, "What is this?" I said, "There's no way in hell I'm doing this." And I think design chose me. I think I was very fortunate that, when he said, "So what is it that you want to do?" I said, "I think I want to design."
Wow.
And I really think I was very lucky that this happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So like you say, I didn't choose design and just something that was meant to be.
That's interesting. So tell us about your academics. Like, what did you do and where did you work? What?
So I did my schooling in Bandra and did college for 2 years in Mithibai, and realized that it's really, I was quite a tomboy. I used to, even in college, want to play cricket and lagori with the kids and the boys. And I was quite a wild child. And so I was really not interested as such. By the time you hit college, you're kind of into boys and you're into that whole thing. And so I got into work straight after 12th. So I used to actually, I started doing my interiors from Raheja, which was a part-time course. I did BCom from through correspondence, and I got into my dad's company. And we had just, he was heading Ramayan marketing internationally.
Right.
And I think that kind of shaped me and shaped my thought process, because I used to take all his, one day you had the head of Warner Brothers coming, one day you had, So, and since I was the young one, I was in charge of taking them out shopping, cottage industries, taking them to contemporary arts at that time. And they all wanted a slice of India.
Right.
And I was responsible for making sure that, they are seeing Bombay for what it is.
How cool.
And I think I didn't realize it was cool at that time, but it somewhere just drop by drop was imbibed into my system.
Right.
And I think that's where my love for India and its craft actually stems from.
Wow, this is crazy. Okay, so, but you did study interiors part-time,
yes,
right? And then you
that
joined...
time it was only a diploma course.
Oh, fair enough.
It wasn't a degree at that point.
Wow.
I am much older, much older. And we'll drop that conversation there.
Okay. So, and then you joined your dad's office.
Yes, I did.
So, when did you take your first step of moving towards like actually pursuing interiors as a career?
So, I think for 3 years while I was studying interiors, I was working with him. And then when I graduated, I did my internship with architect Tushar Desai. And I still remember, I mean, of course, we never had computers back then. We still had,
No
yes,
way.
we didn't.
No way.
I'm
Okay.
from that generation. Yes, we still had drafting boards. And I still remember we were doing an ad agency, and I was a young intern, and I went over there with the seniors, and I saw all these cool people hanging and smoking, and typical ad world, and I was so enamored, and I said, oh my God, I love being a designer. So, I literally went down the path where I've done 850 rupees as salary, starting salary.
Wow.
Not had enough money to take auto rickshaws, walked from work, been exhausted and passed out in local trains, done all of that. So, yeah.
Wow, this is like super cool. So, you said that you interned with Tushar Desai. How long was your internship? And how important do you think in today's day and age is to intern under somebody?
I think it's very important because I remember I came from a family that had all the connections.
Right.
My dad refused to let me use them. And I think that was so sensible because he thought it was very important for me. When I started working with him, I was never the boss's daughter.
Yeah.
I was made to sit where the peons sit. And And I would actually have to work with the admin team for the first 3 months to prove that I'm serious and I want to work. So
I love this.
yes. I've gone through the grind. I have, and I think that really formed me. It created discipline. It created, humility. It created a bit of empathy towards what I always had my cars and drivers, but we never could use that. So I think when you actually start from the bottom, you realize how tough it is, and you get an overall picture. So by the time you have your own studio, you really know what goes into it. I remember at Tushar's office, him firing me because I'd messed something. And my whole draft board was only full of tears, and my whole paper had turned completely soggy, and I didn't know what to do and what to say. But that's important. It breaks your ego, it teaches you, and I think when you look back, you're very strong then to take on anything.
Wow, this is insane. So, right from your internship days to your first independent project, tell me something about it.
So I remember just after my internship or during my internship, my cousin asked me to do up his room, and he wanted to become a film director. So we did up his room in a very cool way. At that point, I thought it was like the coolest thing, rough walls and concrete floor at that point, which was very unheard of. Of course, we didn't have the budget. That's why we did that. And we put up a lot of black and white photos from the movies and things like that. And it was a cool pad. And Vidhu Chopra walked into that space, and we're also related.
Okay.
So he walked into that space and he saw it, and I remember he said, "Hey, you must do my office." So
how cool!
Yeah. So for me at that point, that was like a big break. And karte, I had my first exhibition with furniture. I always had this kida in me to want to create my own line of furniture, and I'm talking about 24 years back.
Wow.
So I remember we did an exhibition in Kala Ghoda in one of the galleries, and that's where my first actual client walked in, saw my pieces, spoke to the gallerist and said, "I love this," and she said, "You must speak to her," and I had no idea who he is.
Okay.
Got the project, went for the meeting, this very elegant uncle, and I was, 26, 27. And I walked in, and he, later on I realized he was a partner at Crawford and Bailey law firm.
Whoa.
I had no idea. I was so clued out. Yeah. And that was a big project. That was a lovely project. So I was very fortunate with my breaks.
Wow, like serious goals. Okay. So cool. And then you decided to have your own company, I'm sure. You have your design studio. So tell us like the inception of the design studio from like all these projects that you started to get.
So I earlier worked with a couple of my friends before I actually bagged my project, and didn't really have a studio. We used to work out of each other's homes. Got married. Had a spare bedroom, so decided that would be my studio, and that's when I started this project.
Wow.
And for me it was very casual. I mean, I really didn't think it was a big deal. I had a very cool room, which was a spare room. Luckily, it was at the entrance of the house. Luckily, people didn't have to walk through the whole house. I remember once when I was ready to hire somebody, I actually had a very senior architect who came in. And he said, "But this is a home." I was supposed to be the boss. So I said, "Yeah, but this is also the studio." So he said, "This is not what I'm looking for." So yeah, I've had those moments, and yeah. But really fun, because Karan, you're so unapologetic. Yeah. You're so motivated. Yeah. You really, I mean, at least me, I never thought too much, or I never thought about, hey, what will my clients think? Right. They're entering one small room. Yeah. My second client turned out to be the CEO of TV8.
Okay.
and honestly, I have never had marketing, a PR company. I've never marketed
you still did
myself.
Have. Okay.
I still don't. Till date, right? Yeah. And I don't know, call it destiny. And he walked into that studio.
Okay.
And I mean, he's the CEO, right? So he walked in, and I painted the whole small room, orange, and I had this cool couch, and I had one drafting board because I had one person who had hired. And I thought it was damn cool. And I don't know how he stuck with me. I don't know, maybe he just felt ki, poor girl. So I don't know. But I remember that when we finished that home, it was just beautiful, and we made it to the cover with our first project.
Whoa! Damn! Okay, cool.
So, fun times.
Cool. So you don't really need to have like a fancy office or a fancy family.
You don't.
You need to have like the design skills, and that's what gets you.
I think
work.
you need to believe in yourself. Yeah.
Okay, there you got the answer. Okay. Okay, so we've spoken from doing home science to getting into
To sewing baby diapers in the first week.
then joining your dad's business, doing your brother's room, to doing up the CEO's house. Cut to like today, what the studio, okay? Because I still want to come to your furniture leg. But tell us the journey from that to where you are today.
So this was 2002.
Wow.
When I founded the studio, Orange Lane.
Wow.
That's when we were in that small room. And
that's at the Orange Room?
that, I mean, yeah, at that point, the Orange Lane, and I had my whole studio orange. You evolve, yeah? But it was a very cool studio. I have photographs. It was very cool. And so post that, of course, we moved to a little bigger studio. I had my first few, 3 employees, and I still work with them.
Wow!
I still work with them. So they've moved on to contracting, and they are strong teams, and I'm still in touch with everyone who's moved out of my studio.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. And they all keep in touch with me. They tell me what they are doing. Some of them have come in magazines, some of them have come on covers, and they'll always send it to me, and I think it's very endearing. It's really cool. So that's it. 2010, we started our retail brand, Peacock Life.
Yes.
And that also was a very funny story, because I always had this angst of so I, as a design studio, I'm not really contemporary in my work or in my head. I am not definitely anywhere close to minimal, clean line, edgy.
We know that.
Yes. And you see, now imagine there were smaller, there was this whole minimalist language that was coming into India at that point in the design scene. And I was one of those who wanted recycled Chor Bazaar desks, and I had only the Chor Bazaars and the Oshiwaras to go to.
Correct.
And if you actually went to any of the stores, you had gin ke 4-5 stores where you could really go, and I found them ridiculously expensive because I knew the cost of making pieces.
Yeah.
Wrong way to start a business or look at business, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided I wanted to get into retail.
Wow.
And I wanted to be the window for Indian craft and furniture which was made in India and handmade. This is way before this whole movement started, after a decade of me opening.
Yeah.
But just I think between kids, between managing a studio, between Peacock Life, I never gave as much attention to the retail brand, which now we do. So it was a strong baby. It stayed floating, and today we are where we are.
And now you have done a lot of these celebrity homes. Okay, tell me one of your favorite projects.
I think Irfan's project that we did was very different from all the other celebrity projects I've done.
Right.
I think he was a man of very few words. His brief was not a brief like how a client usually gives a brief. His brief was more in pahelis and, in I need to be able to feel like I'm walking on sand when I'm in my house. So, which led us to actually do a river wash texture on the floor. So, we had to kind of decode what was going on in his mind and what he was trying to tell us. Like I remember when we were doing his living room space, his brief was, Shabnam, मुझे ऐसे लगना चाहिए कि मैं city में ही नहीं हूँ. मुझे लगना चाहिए कि मैं कहीं बाहर हूँ. I don't want to see anybody. So I remember we actually did a 5-foot planter trough wrapped around the whole space and created layers where you really could not, you literally felt cocooned within that space. So I think it was a lot of learning working with him. Very intense, very different, not a care in the world about brands or anything whatsoever. His briefs were, I want to hear the sound of water, but I don't want it to be so loud that it drives me mad. So, I mean, so, and actually when we put it on, he said, Shabnam, if I sit in silence and hear this, I'll go mad. And we had to actually adjust the sound to drip so softly that you can hear it, but it can't drive you mad.
Wow.
So I think each personality that we've worked with, and we are very fortunate as a studio, that look at the kind of people we attract. They're so distinct even in their craft.
Right.
Like I think an Irfan to a Rajkumar Rao to a Kangana to so many others whose names I am not able to take, but who have a very different grasp on their craft, and when you work with them, you get to see such a different side of the true people they are.
Right.
And I think it's beautiful.
So what I wanted to come towards is that you have a style of your own, and like how you just correctly said that all these people have a very distinct. How do you marry the two? I want to know that. Because, we feel that, okay, due respect, but I've seen a lot of people, projects after projects, you can't differentiate.
Yeah.
Dono mein antar hai ke same project.
Yeah.
Okay? But your projects are Shabnam Gupta projects, but they are still very distinctive.
Yes.
And I want to know this, like, key, how you marinate the two concepts together.
Honestly, and again, not taking away from anyone's method of working.
Yeah.
I don't see how else you can work. Because I'll tell you why. If I'm working with a Pariniti who's a young, peppy actor and who wants a home for a certain aspect of her life, how can I cookie cut that for her? I have to design for that person. If I'm designing for Irfan, who's that intense and who's living half his life in his own mind, I have to design something that cocoons that mind. So I'm wired in a way where I can't see it as a job that I do. I see that I bring joy into people's lives. I feel when Kangana told us that Shabnam, my Manali home needs to be a home where I can retreat from the world, but I can also party there. I had to make sure that that home can wear stilettos at night and look sexy and yet be a warm blanket for her.
Yeah.
So for us as a studio, I think even when I sit with my teams, I will never look at a marble as a marble. For me, it's the texture, it's the feeling it gives you. So I think that's our approach towards our work is a little more different.
Yeah, I mean, like, I sound very stupid to even ask something like that, but that's a question which we all have, because if you want to work towards to have a particular style, but every project also has to be different, then what is that element that will change, because the style still remains, right?
Yeah. So I know what you mean, because it's really funny that people say, oh yeah, we saw that and that's done by you. And I'm like, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that? And I can't somehow see that thread that's actually tying all of it to give it our distinct signature, because we in our heads are thinking, oh, we are evolving with every project, but obviously we are not. I think your core maybe remains the same. Your belief system remains the same.
Which is so cool, because every project looks different, but every project has a Shabnam Gupta stamp on it, which is like something I would want to do when I grow old, and when people see my projects.
He just called me old. I hope we are making notes. He just called me old. And remember the first thing he called me.
Shit.
There's no getting out of this one.
I mean, to say, like, when I be as senior as you are.
Senior?
I mean,
He's making it worse for himself.
Okay, change of the topic.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So before we go on to like a different quiz, okay, I have a Ramayana quiz for you.
Okay, this is getting back to me.
Okay. So I remember like when I was a kid, okay, and Sunday,
Yeah.
everybody would be like, there's not even a crow is outside or a dog is barking.
Yes.
Everyone is like, it was like COVID for 2 hours, okay?
Yeah.
When people used to watch Mahabharata and Ramayan,
Yeah,
right?
I've told you I used to handle marketing, right?
Right.
So I used to be privy to all the press that was there at that time, and we didn't have digital press at that point. You will not believe the press cuttings and clippings of brides who have stopped their marriages.
Whoa.
Yes. Trains that have stopped on the station. There are photographs of people who have deboarded. There's Ramayan happening, and there is no concept of a schedule because the train master is also sitting over there. The kind of write-ups and the kind of things and the impact Ramayan had is something you can't even fathom.
Yeah.
And you are aware that when it was retelecasted in the pandemic, it broke records of even Games of Thrones.
Whoa!
Today, with this generation.
Yeah.
So Ramayan, I think, was just a different monster.
Okay. Who is the author of Ramayan?
Valmiki.
Okay. Who's Rama's father?
Dashrath.
Okay.
Come on. Everyone needs to know that.
It starts easy, right?
Oh, I'm really scared. Shit.
Which bird tried to rescue Sita when she was being abducted?
Give me a hint.
Starts with J.
Jaruda or something. It is something like that. What is it?
Jatayu.
Jatayu. Hey, listen, I don't want to play this game.
Oh, come on, okay. It's just getting interesting. Okay. Who was the sage that Ram, Sita and Lakshman visited during their exile?
Hey, listen, this is
such a massive disappointment.
No, but this is so bad. Listen, my granddad did Ramayan, yeah? I mean, it asked me design questions.
But you were the person who was dealing with all the press releases and everything.
I was the one who didn't want to talk about my family legacy. You can't bring this up.
But this is Ramayan. This is like generic question. Mythological question.
Okay, you say. Okay, give me a hint.
Start with A.
Not Agastya Rishi.
Yeah.
Agastya Rishi.
Yeah.
Agastya Rishi. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now rapid fire. You have to answer
There's still rapid fire after this. Oh God.
Oh, iske baad there's one more like fun session. Okay. What is your favorite color to work with? Which is your favorite color to work with?
Blue.
Okay. If you were a piece of furniture, what would you be?
I think a dining table, because I think the best conversations happen there.
Okay, that's cool. Modern or traditional design?
Modern India.
Okay. What's your go-to accent piece?
Layering.
Okay. Wallpaper or paint?
Both.
Favorite design blog or Instagram account? Here you say, Karan, your page.
I recently have been following this account of Baptiste Bohu.
Okay.
And he's this architect, a French architect, and he does
I follow
crazy work, and I really love what he does. Very wild.
Again, very quick questions. Okay. Who was your first celebrity client?
Aditya Chopra.
When you designed the Manali home for Kangana, okay, what were the challenges that you faced? Because it's a project in the mountains and all of that. So.
Yeah, so actually there the challenges weren't from the client at all.
Okay. Oh, wow.
At all.
Wow.
I
so
mean,
cool.
she's so with it. She so gets design.
Right.
She came once.
Wow.
Once in the entire project.
Dream project.
Dream project. It was. I think it was more a big learning for us. You don't get any material over there.
Right.
You have to get everything from around Himachal,
Chandigarh,
Chandigarh, Delhi.
Yeah.
So I think it was more the logistics and the handling and learning how mountain weather is so harsh, and you need to design around that.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Kangana's Manikarnika Ka studio is renowned for its commitment to sustainability. Can you tell us more about the design philosophy?
When we took it, it was a beautiful property, which was very horribly layered like a play school, and it actually all windows were shut, and you could not even really enjoy what the potential it had. And I think when we started layering it and opening it up and brought it to bone and skeletal, we kind of realized that it has this lovely east and west, and it's got big trees, and Kangana is a very rooted and a very soulful person. I think a lot of people don't know that side of her because of who she is. And I think she is really someone who gets design. So when we really had it to bones and showed it to her and said, now we want to keep as many windows and just let landscape engulf it completely, she was fully on board. And she wanted a studio that has no color, that allows you to think, that has nothing which is filmy. So only quotes, which were also not film quotes. There were quotes which were hard-hitting, introspective quotes. So very, very, one of our projects which we'll always cherish.
Wow, that's cool. Okay. Can we know the reason why you dripped the entire entrance lobby with blue and not any other color while you designed Irfan Khan's?
I think that was one of the first projects where that blue became so synonymous with me. And then, of course, we've used it in so many projects. And when we were shooting with Fabian and AD, editor at that point, I remember the stylist just removed this ochre yellow sweater and told Irfan that, and Irfan and all his broodiness and moodiness, and that lighting was just perfect. And I think they made him sit there, and that yellow and that blue, because the idea was we wanted someone to enter from the lift lobby and already drop everything that the city brings on to you. And kind of leave that behind before you enter the home. So that whole blue was that broody, moody blue. And the way Fabian captured it, and the way AD, it went to the AD cover, it went to the Paris AD, it broke the internet on House, and we were like, wow. But that was just iconic.
Interesting. Okay. There's a lot of blue going on with Rajkumar's and Patsalekha's home as well. What were the places where they let your creativity freedom shine in their houses?
Raj and Patra actually, it's very funny because they got in touch with us whilst they were actually already working with somebody. And we never take on a project when someone's already there because it's just not right. And when they got in touch with us, they actually sent me, I don't know how they got my number, I forget that. They sent me pictures of some homes saying, hey, we've been showing these homes to our architect, that this is what we want to do, and we've actually realized that these are homes done by you. So, can you come on board? And, of course, we said, whatever. So they said, no, let them finish the architectural part, and then you come in for the interiors. And the Irfan blue was one of those iconic ones, which they said that. So I've had a lot of clients for whom that Irfan blue has become like a testament of sorts.
Loving that. Okay. Every celebrity is different and their homes need to reflect their own personality. How do you visualize the artist personality while designing? We spoke about it a little bit, but if you have anything else to share.
But I don't think that's limited only to celebrities. It applies to everybody. I think everybody who... even in my first meeting, I can kind of sum up the person. I'm sure so can you. I'm sure you can look at the linen shirt and the slim bracelet or a lot of chunky bangles or the shoes and say, okay, I think this will work just fine. Or you can look at somebody who might come in and you might just look at them, and not because you're gauging them or you're dissing them, but you're just kind of seeing, are we on the same page? It's more that vibe. So I think that once you're past that, then it's just a question of scratching deeper and knowing the true person behind that.
Interesting, okay. Actually, forget anybody else, I am picking up a lot of cues for myself. Beyond aesthetics, how do you aim to create emotional connection between your celebrity, like your clients, and the spaces you design for them? What role of a storytelling do you play in the houses that you design?
I think we are the bridge between what the client has in mind and what we feel the house actually demands.
Okay.
So the client might have whatever in their mind. Over and beyond that, so I mean, I'm sure as architects and designers, you hear all of that. You understand the must-do requirements, but over and above that, it's actually the client who kind of sits on the sideline.
Right.
And it's the land, or it's the house, or it's the wind, or the light that's streaming in that kind of talks to you to tell you this is what is actually needed.
Right.
And then you kind of piece all of it together. So
Sure.
you're the person who's doing the jugaad. You know, and
Yeah, because a lot of times I've come across people who say that, oh, I want a very modern house and this and that, and we're like, oh, okay, sure. And we always ask for our clients to share some reference images from Pinterest,
Yeah.
okay, because that's the easiest way for
to
them
know
to
what's
like
in their
explain.
mind. Yeah.
And it's nowhere close to modern.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And not only that, I think, like, you know, sometimes you get people who have no context.
Yeah.
Like, you might want a very modern glass kind of a space in Alibag.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I think it's also for us to educate them.
Right.
Because they don't know better. I feel a lot of the times people just don't know better. And it's when you kind of talk to them and you talk a bit about being kinder, sustainable, the local materiality, the kind of architecture that actually, like in the mountain home that, you know, you've done, I've done.
Yeah.
You've got to account for the snowfall. You've
I
got
agree.
to account for the terraces. You've got
Yeah.
to have materiality. And that same applies everywhere else. So we try to educate clients. We try to decode them and bridge. And basically then do what we want to do.
Okay, cool. A lot of cool questions and answers and advices. Now we're going to have one last round of some fun
Oh God, I
riddles.
hate these
They
fun
are just
things.
riddles, okay? You just have, they're riddles. They are very like common sense riddles. You just have to answer them. Starting with one. What is at the end of rainbow?
A chest of treasure.
That's
we looking? Are we looking?
No, that's a really interesting answer. Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, are we looking at...
It's a riddle, so-
but the riddle could be answered
Anything,
from
yeah.
a fairy tale, from a story, from actuality,
yeah,
from
yeah.
science, from
This is
fiction.
acceptable.
See how knowledgeable I am?
Yeah, we'll see further on. Okay, this is acceptable. Okay,
Good. And who's deciding what is acceptable? You.
of course.
Okay. Okay.
What can you catch but never throw?
A cold.
Okay then.
I hope my kids are watching how intelligent their mom is.
It has keys but no locks. It has space but no room. You can enter but can't go inside. What is it?
Okay, what's the answer?
Keyboard.
Oh, that's so corny. That is so sad. Listen, Shu Khabar can't be doing corny things like that.
Listen, we're testing your intellectual power here. So let's see. I have cities but no houses. And I have forest but no trees. I have water but no fish. What am I?
A map.
Oh, this is getting edited.
It is very good. I want this edit.
Okay. What belongs to you but other people use it more than you?
Images of my work.
Acceptable, but we need. This is like the coolest answer, but okay. One more answer.
What belongs to me, but other people use it more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your name.
Oh, that's so sick. That is sick. So I was close.
Yeah, you were close. Okay. What is full of holes but still holds water?
What?
A sponge.
Oh God! Listen, this is very sidey. Okay, this is not designed.
What has a head and a tail but doesn't have a body?
A coin.
Oh, this is going to be edited.
What was the answer you had?
It's a coin.
Coin.
Yeah. This is going out of this entire episode. So here we are to the last leg of our Shu Khabar episode. It has been like a fun thing, like all the personal digs plus family embarrassments to to some cool advices. To wrap this up, if you have to give 5 pieces of advice to our viewers, to our young designers who are wanting and dreaming to do big in their career, who are wanting to take a plunge into their design dreams, to start their own practice and to bring in more work and all of that, we need 5 pieces of advice from you.
So the first piece would be true to who you are. Do not try to copy, cut, paste. Develop your own language. I think that's very important. If you want to really stand out, you have to be true to who you are, because that will show. Authenticity always shows. Second would be there is no substitute to hard work. I think everyone's heard this multiple times. It's the only truth. So I endorse that in a big way myself. Third, I would think there are no shortcuts. So PR, marketing, switching jobs constantly, all that works for a bit. You really need to grab the bull by its horns. That's the only way. And you need to learn. You need to stick to a studio or a couple of studios to learn really language of work, technicalities, etc., so that you really are ready when you need to start off on your own. And fourth one would be what? Would be, I know what my fifth one will be. Can I say my fifth one first?
Yes.
Fifth one would be, don't trust Shu Khabar. Don't trust them. They say they're a podcast for design. They aren't. It's a trap. But fourth one would actually be, you need to love what you do. It's imperative. It cannot be a job. You cannot be feeling like you're on a treadmill that has gone out of control. You really need to get up every morning happy, motivated, looking forward, and life will be easy breezy.
Wow. Thank you so much. And I'm going to call, listen, I'm very kind and generous. I'm still going to get you a hamper. Here we are. We've got Ruchi and even though, come in the center. Even though Shabnam has been horrible at answering, but we're nice people, so we're giving you the coffee.
So
hamper.
grateful, sir. So grateful. Thank you. I need the edits. I need those edits.
Hey guys, so I hope that you've enjoyed this fun session with Shabnam and me. And if there are any questions that you would want to ask her, then you can put them down in the comments, or of course they can always reach out to her Instagram profile and ask her. But if you message her, then we will definitely make sure that Shabnam replies to those questions.
Bullied, get bullied.
And if there is anything else that you'd like to know from us, or any other designer that you'd want us to get on board, then you need to let us know, and we will make sure that designer is going to be sitting on the hot seat. But today I am like super happy because I have learned a lot of key insights about I think about life in general and not designing, and I think that's what is more important, because if you're good, if your intentions are good, then whatever you do is going to be good. It's a very different point of view from everything that we've discussed in general, which is amazing because it didn't revolve around design.
Yep.
It revolved around you as a person. And if this is amazing, then whatever you're going to do is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So, an end to like this super cool chapter, and inshallah we'll have Shabnam coming up on the Shu Khabar platform soon. Next time with
at our Karjat place.
Oh yes,
yes, at our Karjat place.
Okay, cool. Signing off. Thank you so much. Thanks, Shabnam.
Thank you. Thanks so much.